It feels so weird now that I can't see you. I'm
Me
like,
too.
so used to us seeing each other now, and I feel like we went back to square one where it's just like, okay, let's
We
do
can't
voice
see
call.
each other.
Yeah.
It feels so weird to do the recording without seeing anybody. Just myself.
We are having
Damn internet.
problems with the internet, so guys, please expect some technical difficulties in this episode, and we're sorry for that. By the way, welcome to Creepy Conversations. I'm
Welcome!
Gabby, and the dog's barking again. She's Kalai.
Yeah. And featuring, I forgot the name of the dog.
Was it Sushi?
Sushi.
Or that's what we
Wait, no,
the
Duke.
dog's name.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Duke is the name of the dog that keeps on barking. So that's him. He
Oh my
loves
God.
to join our podcast.
Yeah. But remember our whole theory about him trying to help out with the connection? So I think he knows we're having issues. Because he's quite
Yeah, that's why he's barking.
loud today. Yeah.
Right.
I hope you guys don't feel down with my energy because I really feel like I'm not as lively as usual. I'm really tired, but we're doing this.
By the way, last night I was doing the research for... I can't even talk. I was doing research for our topic.
Mhm.
And then I got into like this mind fuck of like how calendars work and how time is just a fucking concept. Like, because I'll be covering a case in Nepal and they have their own calendar there, so they
Right.
don't use the Gregorian calendar or the International Standard Calendar, and I'm like,
Yeah.
time is a lie.
But I mean, like, it's the same
Days
for
are
Chinese.
just numbers.
Yeah.
Right.
Because even the Chinese have a different calendar, right? They follow, the moon or something.
Yeah.
So there's that.
That's right. It is. Yeah, last night I was literally like, wow, everything is not
It's a
real.
lie. It's a concept and we're just making shit up. I mean, it's the same thing as when we researched on equipments for the podcast. And
Right.
we got to that, what was it called again? Sound data thing? Is that
Audio
it?
data.
Audio data. I'm making shit up now. But yeah, even that is such a trip. Like, the concept of you turning something...
Talking.
Yeah, like something you
Right.
can't really see or touch, but then it's transferred in your computer and shit. And so other people can literally hear your voice.
Exactly.
It's such a mindfuck.
Like, it's crazy to me how we're just talking and like a non-physical thing can become data and then transferred into like another computer that like into a
Right.
computer, and then like y'all are listening to our voice audio data right now. It's just, it took me like quite a while to get back to reality because I was just so like, everything's a fucking lie.
Yeah, I mean, like, isn't that a crazy concept? You're literally capturing frequency,
Right.
which, like, I don't even know if how that exists or how that works.
Right? Science, man. Scientists.
It's gonna fuck
They
you
should-
up.
Exactly. They should pay scientists more for doing shit that we take for granted.
Aren't they rich already, though? Or not really?
I don't
Sorry.
think so.
I don't know what I'm talking about. Stoner talk! Anyway, let's move on, because this is just... We're gonna get stuck here for a very long time if...
Exactly. We're gonna be like, everything's a lie.
Yeah.
Anyway, as I mentioned earlier, I'll be covering a case in Nepal. Is it Nepal or... How do you pronounce the country? Literally, we sound like we're high. Like, how do you pronounce a word?
Dude,
We're just
we are
tired.
sober. Yeah.
We're not even drunk.
It's just 2 syllables, like Nepal. How?
Nepal.
What? I'm confused. Okay.
Whatever.
Anyway.
So yeah, in Nepal, they have festivals dedicated to those that aren't from the world of the living.
Right.
So one of these festivals are held in I mentioned earlier that they have their own calendar. So in the Nepalese month called Bhadra, which is in between August and September, they have this thing called the Festival of the Cows, which in their language is called Gai Jatra, is one of the most like important holidays, and usually in Hindu countries they celebrate that. So during that festival, families who lost a relative during that year would lead a cow, which is their most sacred animals, and then they would have like this parade where they like walk their cows, and if they don't have cows, they dress their little boys into cows and then they lead them to the parade.
That was such a wrong time for me to take a sip of my water, because you're like, they dress their kids as cows. Fuck, I wasn't ready. Jeez, I'm sorry.
It's so cute. Like, I was imagining, like, could you imagine actual cows with, like, little kids dressed as cows? I bet the cows are like, humans are fucking crazy. But yeah, they do that parade or procession because they have this belief that the cow will lead their loved one safely into the afterlife. So yeah. Another thing that they celebrate in the Nepalese month of Kartik, which is in between October and November. So in the month of Kartik, they celebrate 2 festivals that are where they like dedicate to those that aren't from the world of the living. So one is called Tihar, the Festival of Lights, which is held like every it says here late autumn, but I don't think Nepal has 4 seasons. I'm not sure. Let me know if I'm wrong. But yeah, so children, it's like kind of like Halloween in the Western world, because children dress up and then they walk door to door and then they perform for, like, unlike Halloween, the kids are just like trick or treat. So what they do instead in Nepal, they perform for their neighbors, and then their neighbors will give them candy or money.
Is this called Diwali or like Deepavali or something?
No, it's called Tihar.
Oh, okay. Because we do something similar here in Singapore, and that's also like a Hindu, and they call it like Lights Festival. And it happens around the same time. Anyway, continue.
But yeah, that's what they do. And another thing that they do also, families place lights around their homes and celebrate animals such as crows and cows. Damn, cows love these places because they're
special there.
Yeah, they're special there. And then dogs, for example, are given floral garlands and red tikas and marks on their brows as a sign of like admiration. So that's what they do in Tihar. They celebrate the dead and the animals. So I think that's really cute. But what we're going to be talking about in this episode is the Ghost Festival, which takes place on the full moon day of the month of Kartik. So I searched because I found the term Ghost Festival very familiar. So
yes.
Yeah, Ghost Festivals are a common festival in other Asian countries, like the Hungry Ghost Festival in Singapore.
Yeah, we're gonna celebrate that next month.
Yeah, August, right? It's like right before your birthday, if I'm correct.
Either before or after. So it usually changes. They follow the moon.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
Kind of same as this, but it's not celebrated in August. It's celebrated in the month of Kartik, which I said is like in the middle of October and November, which is, I think that's Scorpio month, right?
It is. Yep, it is.
Also, I did like while I was researching, I realized I think the Philippines is like the only country that doesn't celebrate ghost festivals, which is sad.
It's weird because we do celebrate Halloween, but that's not really.
I noticed that in like the Asian culture, we like to celebrate
The dead.
our dead a lot. So we have like different festivals where we celebrate the dead, and I think the Philippines is like the only country that has like only one festival, not really even a festival, like a holiday dedicated to the dead. Other countries, for them, their ancestors are very important to them, which is, I think, is like a really nice thing, because they don't forget like their lineage or whatever. Anyway, right. So although many Asian countries celebrate the Ghost Festival, they do different things during the Ghost Festival. And in Nepal, they celebrate the Ghost Festival by performing exorcisms on women who like, mostly their families think that they're possessed. But before we start, I would just like to know what causes mass possession.
Mass possession?
Yeah, or like...
Wow, that's a lot. I've never heard of mass possession before, but I do know that these are mostly related to mental disorders or mental health conditions. I kind of like I tried to look into that last night, and to be honest, I think the search engines in Singapore is rigged, because all the results that I found were like dissertations, like medical thesis on the topic, and everything is paid downloadable content. So
what?
Yeah, and it ranges from like $20 to $35, and I'm just like, I cannot afford this. So I have a few resources here, but I can't really share much. Let me just drop them. So I went for ResearchGate, obviously Wikipedia, and then we have like this dissertation on schizophrenia or possession, a journal of religion and health by M. Kemal Irmak, possessive state disorder, the diagnosis of demonic possession, and Psychology Today. And majority of them actually relate possession back to schizophrenia, but there has been studies that these are all consequences of psychological trauma. So people with traumatic experiences before, or like especially when they were children, have been found to be more common to experience these possessions. And yeah, a lot of them as well are based on religious or like what do we call this, socio-cultural influences. And this actually even dates back to ancient civilizations in China, Egypt, Babylon, and Greece. Do I say Babylon or Babylon? Is that Babylon?
I think it's Babylon.
Fuck.
We don't know how to talk, people.
Yeah.
Sorry.
But you get what I mean. And so these are not really treated right away when it happens, because people don't get, especially when you believe in those things, they don't really treat it right. So it just worsens, and sometimes people even make it worse than it is, because instead of helping them out, they're tortured to kind of like force out the demon from the body, quote unquote.
Right.
Yeah. But amazingly though, there are recent studies that say these demonic possessions may be a different form. Really? Yeah, maybe real, but what? Like not in a sense of how we understand it, like a demon is really getting into your body and possessing you. But it's more like it's its own kind of mental disorder, rather than just this is schizophrenia or depression or hysteria, and then it's manifesting as something that's what we know as possession.
Whoa.
Yeah. But there's nothing conclusive of that yet, although I've found like 3 articles that said it is possible it's its own kind of mental disorder.
Oh.
Yeah.
Damn. Damn, Gina.
I know, that was a lot.
Yeah, that's very interesting, because we just see possession as it is, especially for like religious communities. They really do just they either isolate you or they torture you, which is like, speaking of torture, is gonna be what I'll be covering for our topic. So the Ghost Festival, they do that every year, but I'll be covering like a certain story because anyway, so in 2017, which is the full moon during Kartik, was November 4, 2017. So in a photo essay by Narendra, let me say that again. Narendra, I literally like Googled how to pronounce the words and the names. So good luck to me. Right. So in a photo essay by Narendra Shrestha, submitted to the European Press Photo Agency, titled "In the Name of Superstition," she covered the Ghost Festival in Nepal at that time, and they observed what do you call this? The Ghost Festival at that time, or I think until now, is observed in Kamala River on a full moon day. So they were doing this while the light was still out, and in the photo essay you would see that it would get darker as they proceeded with the ritual. So I'm assuming that the ritual starts in the afternoon and then continues towards the evening. Yeah. So in November 4, 2017, hundreds of people gathered at the banks of Kamala River in Nepal to witness the healing of Rinku Yadav, a 20-year-old young woman who's a mother of two, who people believe that she was possessed by an evil spirit. So according to the other articles that I read, it was her family who brought her to the Dami. A Dami is like what we call a shaman or a witch doctor, but they locally call it a Dami. Yeah, she was brought to the Dami because they believed that she was possessed and that her possession was the reason why they were having bad luck. Rinku Yadav, who was raising her child alone because her husband went to Kuwait for work, was taken by her in-laws because they believe that because she kept on getting ill, and they believed that some witch or ghost was like possessing her. So the healing ritual was led by 45-year-old Paltan Mokia. By the way, later I'll explain to you guys what a Dami is. So the Dami beat Rinku Yadav with a stick in an attempt to heal her from the possession. And then, yeah, you should see the pictures because it's a photo essay. So they were able to like capture the whole ritual. So, but I think they didn't really like beat her up like the way we see cops beat up people. But I think it was just like,
dude, your analogy, jeez.
Sorry, that's the only thing that I could think of. The shade, sorry. But yeah, they still hit her, but like not as much force,
right?
As they like, yeah, you know what I mean. But yeah, and then like after beating her with a stick, they got hold of her ear and had an assistant dummy pour mustard oil into her ear.
What?
While the assistant dummy chanted mantras. Then, in the middle of the ritual, Rinku, or the ghost who was possessing her, admitted that she was a ghost and the ghost was now ready to leave the body. Rinku was then taken to another shaman, another Dami's assistant, Dulok Kumari. She was taken to the river where the assistant Dami grabbed her by the hair and submerged her into the waters for a holy quote-unquote dip, which was honestly, when I looked at the pictures, it was not a dip, man. It was like...
I can tell, like, when you say dip and those things just... No, it's not a dip. I'm pretty sure it was like a huge dunk.
Exactly. That was the word that I was looking for. It's not a dip. It's a bigger than a dip. It's a fucking dunk. They fucking dunked her into the rivers, the waters of the river, with like a fistful of her hair. Yep. So that's not really what you call a dip.
That's exactly what I was picturing in my head while you were trying to describe this nicely.
Yeah. And after, quote unquote, dipping her, the evil spirit was said to have left her body, and the young woman, Rinko, was considered healed. So Ghost Festival...
No, I didn't say anything.
Oh, shit. I swear I heard somebody talk there, Gab.
Woo! Oh my god, don't scare me like that. I am by myself in my room right now. Come on now.
Sorry. Anyway,
Woo,
so yeah, the Ghost Festival is like a centuries-old cultural celebration. It's held in the Danusha district, which is 218.2 kilometers from the capital, Kathmandu, like the capital of Nepal. And then every year on the full moon day of November, thousands of, not just November, I think if the full moon lands in October,
it's gonna happen.
They also celebrate that. It's really depends on when the first full moon day of Kartik will happen. That's when the Ghost Festival happens.
Okay.
Right. So, yeah, thousands of people, mostly from Danusha district, in eastern Nepal and neighboring India, like people from India also like go to Danusha, Kamala River, to go to the Holy River and then have their family members get exorcised. So exorcism is not just a Catholic thing, it's also like a thing that other religions or other cultures practice. Yeah, and they arrive at the festival like they're convinced that there's something wrong with their family members because their businesses get affected. So it's still about money.
So they just blame random people.
Usually it's like within their family. And usually it's a girl.
I'm sensing a pattern here.
Later you'd be like, I'll explain to you what a dami is, and you'd be like, what the hell? Right? So for the whole night they would gather at the site and then they would chant mantras while the damis would practice various rituals. What they usually do is they would bang the drums and then they would like visibly shake. That's what the dummies do. Because they're getting like power.
Stop! Physically shake as in like themselves? What?
Yeah. Like.
Okay.
I don't want to do it, but like they shake.
I just did. Oh god. Wait, but how though? It's like cucaracha? No, I'm kidding.
We don't know. Maybe they do that.
Oh geez, sorry. Anyway, continue. My bad.
But yeah, they reiterate the tale that there are two kinds of during the Ghost Festivals, the dummies would like reiterate the what is wrong with me? They would reiterate the tale that there are two kinds of possessions. People can either be possessed by the soul of a person who suffered an untimely and unwanted death, and they would be considered as ghosts or like spirit. Or they would be possessed by what they call a lineage god or goddess, which is like that? A god from their lineage. I don't know how to explain it, but that's it. Like, kind of like their old ancestors that they would consider as gods.
Right. It's probably like Grandmother Willow from Pocahontas.
Right. That's like a good example. But instead of like possessing a willow tree, they would possess themselves.
Right.
So that's it. Those who are believed to be possessed will start dancing, and then the shamans or like the dummies will make them chant words. It's written here, but I think I I won't be able to pronounce it.
Okay.
I'll try.
I'm waiting.
So they will pronounce the words Paap ki Chaya Dharm ki Jai. Jai. J or Jai?
It's probably Jai.
Jai. So yeah, that mantra means to help bring forth victory over sin. And then they would hold the wrist of the person while dancing because they believe that they can, like, how do you say this? Transfer the dummy's power to remove the spirit through holding the wrist, which is kind of like, if you look at the act of like holding someone's wrist, it's like kind of like restraining somebody.
Yes.
So I think that's the psychology of that there. But yeah, so it's considered as an extreme example of superstition in Nepal. They've done this tradition for like years and years. But some say, like some journalists say, that the shamans, they would exploit other people. Because for you to get healed by a dummy, the family would have to pay. Guess how much?
I'm clueless at it. And plus, I don't know the currency in Nepal.
Try it in USD, because the article that I read, they put the amount in USD.
Just to heal, right? I would say somewhere around $1,000.
Wow!
No,
right.
I'm trying to be like conservative with this.
Yeah, it's usually 1,500 to 2,000.
Oh,
US dollars. That's how much they need to pay in order to attend the festival, in the hopes of finding a dummy to heal their quote-unquote possessed family member.
Dude. Should we change our cult leader
Let's be dummies, man!
Yeah, it's like, which doctor is because...
Right. And I did like a further research on the subject, because there's only one like really documented instance of like the ghost festival, which was the one that I just told you guys.
Yeah.
By the possession of Rinku. So I did like further research on what dummies are. So in Nepal, the term dummy and another term they call jakri, which is often like a single term, so they usually call it a dummy jakri, are ritual practitioners who are possessed by local deities and goddesses or gods.
Whoa.
So technically, dummies are also possessed, but
like with a different kind of spirit, kind of.
yeah, with a different kind of spirit. And the thing is, that's why they do, like, they play the drums and then they visibly shake, because the act of playing the drums is what they do to call on to the god or the goddess, or to like any deity to possess them, and use their body as like an oracle to be able to heal. And then once they start like visibly shaking, that's when they know that the god or the goddess or the deity has like used their body to be an oracle. Which is like, I think it's kind of unfair, because you're trying to heal somebody possessed, but you yourself, you're also possessed. So
this is like, if you can't beat them, join them.
right. Also, another thing that's crazy for me is that dummies are usually male.
Why am I not surprised?
Yes, there are also female dummies, but according to their culture, the power is different. So male dummies are usually the ones that can remove the spirit that's possessing you, because they're more powerful.
Who gets to decide this?
Their culture, or I don't know, the dummies, I guess. They say that the dummies are the ones that are, they consider them as like holy people, because they they fulfill like ritual functions, and also they're chosen by, not everyone's chosen by a god to like a god like, sure, I'm gonna possess you and like help you heal people. So yeah, they usually learn how to be a dami. Wait, no, they can't learn how to be a dami. It has to be in their lineage. But if it is in your lineage, you can learn how to be a dami. So you have to go through like this whole thing of like going to the forest where you learn the rituals, like the banging of the drums and like other stuff that they do, and like the other prayers that they do as well. So even if you already know the chant, like the chant that I said earlier, but if you're not a dami and you did not go through the ritual that the dami asked you to do, you won't be healed from the possession.
Right. Because you're technically not legit.
Yes. So yeah. And yeah, that's it. That's the Ghost Festival of Nepal.
That is such a weird festival, I would say, because I still don't get the concept of mass possession. I feel like it's such a placebo thing.
Yeah.
And also because the studies that I've read about say that religion plays a huge role in kind of shaping these things, because it gets into your subconscious. It's like you learn it as you were young, and it kind of just directs your belief system in a way. And so when these manifestations happen, it's like in the back of your head. And I remember a line they mentioned, like, the religious language provides the patients a way of dealing the unstructured psychosis that they're in. So
whoa.
Yeah, that's what they put here. That was literally quoted from. So because when you're in a possessed state, it's literally you dissociating. You're not there, and your mind kind of just connects to your subconscious in a way, and usually it relates back to culture, socio-cultural traditions, and a lot of these traditions are heavily related to religion, and that's why these things kind of just connect.
What I find crazy is that it's an annual festival. That's how much people get possessed in Nepal. Like, they have to have an annual festival to be like exorcised from these spirits. Like, I don't know. I don't know if I believe in that.
Maybe
you
it's
know what
like,
I mean?
Community cleansing in a way. Kind of like how we, what do you call that? My brain just stopped working. I'm sorry. In Easter, when we confess, it's probably the same for them. Like, it's an annual thing. But I don't know. I'm just making an analogy here.
A lot of, like, from, like, researching witchcraft, pagans also, like, do, like, cleansing rituals as well. And then, like, other religions, like, they kind of, like, not really borrow, but they also have it. People are so obsessed with like purity, of being pure, and from maybe what like these women that are brought there to be like exercised, maybe they just, you know, they just have their own mind, and maybe they're forward thinking, and their families are not like cool with that shit, and are like, you know what, I think you're possessed. Let me bring you to the, and dude, they pay $1,000, like $2,000 just to like heal you. Like, that's too much.
I know, right? They are so into it. They believe that so much. What scares me is that, say there's really nothing wrong with that person and they undergo that process, and I personally, it's traumatic. So you're really just creating your own problem here, because in the first place there was wasn't anything that needed to be fixed, and then you put them in trauma, so then now it happens.
Something gets triggered.
Yeah. Maybe that's why it happens every year, because, like, the trauma is there.
Right.
And it's kind of like, oh my god, I'm reliving this again because it's happening this year.
Because it's so traumatic. Yeah. Oh my god, right. That could be what's happening. Also, I find it, I know I'm not supposed to be laughing, but like the part where they said that the ghost who was possessing Rinko admitted that, oh, she was a ghost and she was possessing this body, and now I'm gonna leave. Like, I feel like it was just Rinku who was like, you know what, I don't like,
it's like, I'm done here.
Beat up with sticks. What can I do to stop this? I'm just gonna say, you know what, I'm actually possessed. Y'all better stop this. I'm gonna leave the body and like leave this poor woman alone.
I mean,
like, could you imagine?
It's a smart move.
Right? But speaking of like being a dummy though, like what they do is, sure, you know, it's not that easy to be possessed by a god and heal other people, but you know, I can pretend to be possessed by a god.
It is like, so fucking easy, man.
But we're not men though.
I mean, we can try. I feel like they're not a Viking culture. I think that's why. Because that's what I realized. Like, most of the pagan or, those kinds of religion that stemmed from some sort of Viking ancestry would usually have... Not necessarily. Because even in the Philippines back then, our priests or, like, shamans were women. Like, women are considered priestess, and if you were a man that was feminine or leaned towards that, or even gay, you were allowed to be a priestess. But for other cultures, it's totally different. It's like male dominated.
You have to be a man to be a priest.
It's like priest.
But yeah.
I wonder what, like, people think about these things, like, especially if you grew up in that kind of culture.
In Nepal, right?
Yeah.
I was thinking the same thing, like, especially nowadays where everything is like modernized and like, you know, like, are the kids who are forward thinking, are they also gonna be brought to Kamala River to be exercised, or, you know?
Was there a common thing besides women who were brought for exorcism or something? Like, did they have a certain characteristic for them to be, like, diagnosed as...
They didn't really say that there's, like, a certain characteristic. It was just mentioned that if you're sickly or if their businesses get, like, bad luck, they would blame it on possession, which kind of reminds me of, like, in our episode where we covered the witch hunt in India. It's kind of like that, where they blame these women to be witches who are causing, like, their businesses to have bad luck. It's kind of like that, but in this case, it's just their family members who are being possessed, and that's the reason why their businesses are, like, bankrupt.
Oh, okay. So they literally have issues with themselves that they can't accept, and so they're like, you know what, this is her fault, whatever.
Yeah, that, I feel like that's, like, they don't really have accountability, so they need to have, like, to blame somebody else. By the way, I forgot to tell you guys another thing, that when dummies get possessed, so aside from, like, shaking and trembling, visibly shaking, they explained to the certain report that I read that the shaking comes from their bellies and then it extends outwards to, like, the other extremities of the bodies, because they believe that the deities and spirits enter their body through their abdomen. And well, sometimes they say that it's through their mouths, but, like, they kind of, like, develop in the abdomen. Yeah, kind of like how you eat and then, like, the shit happens there in your abdomen. So yeah, it's kind of like that. So they believe that the spirit would enter their mouth and then like develop in their stomach and then like extend towards like the different parts of their bodies.
They're literally just having indigestion.
They said that they would have like enhanced attentiveness, which allows them to see like spirit forms, which allows them to diagnose this person of having been possessed. And then they say that they would usually, the spirits that possess them, or like the, not the spirits, but like the deities or that would possess them, are usually like old witches, and they're described as like glowing lights or human like shadows. And then while dancing, because I mentioned earlier that they like visibly shake and then they let the possess dance, right? So that's how they will know how powerful the spirit is, because while dancing they would see like the residuals of the spirit while dancing. Like while they move, they would see like the energy that's being left of the movement, and then they would know that, oh, this person is possessed by this really strong spirit. I would need more like energy to like combat this spirit.
You know what? I'm just like trying to imagine the whole thing, and I kind of want to see a painting or like a video of the whole aura, energy, chakra thing dancing together. I think that'd be really cool.
The pictures though are really, they're pretty cool.
I'm sure.
It's just a few photos. By the way, we'll post the link in our website.
Oh!
Socials. Wait.
Yeah, socials and website.
We'll post the yes. We'll post the link so you guys can see as well. It's not a lot of photos, but it's pretty cool to see what they look like, how they dress when they're performing these rituals, and how these women look like, these quote-unquote possessed women look like when they're being exorcised. They don't really look like they're in pain, but they look like they're not comfortable also. So yeah, I would want to attend, just, you know, not be exorcised, but like,
yeah, but like
watch. I want to see like the dancing, how they let, you know,
like just to witness it.
Yeah, how they will let the possessed do the dance, and like I just want to see the whole thing, like walk through it, and like
I feel the
be
same.
like, this shit is so trippy. But yeah, so that's that. That's the Ghost Festival and the dummies of Nepal. Nepal.
We're still not over this. Like, we still don't know how to say the country's name. Jeez. I would really like to see what our listeners, what the creepers think about this, because I'm not entirely mad for some reason that this whole cultural thing is happening, because I don't think they're also, what do you call this? Trying to be violent.
Right.
The only thing I don't like is the monetizing thing, like taking advantage of people for the money. But hey, if they're not forcing anyone to it, then I guess it's fine. Like, I mean, it's pricey, but okay.
Right.
I'd like our...
Also...
Yeah.
Yeah. Also, if we have listeners from Nepal, like, please let us know if you've attended this, or if you've seen this, or like what are the other stuff that you know about it, because I find like the shamanism in Nepal to be very interesting.
Yeah.
I couldn't really like do further research on what like the other process of like how to be a dummy and like other shit like that. I know for a fact that it's like more intense how they turn into it, because I read somewhere that they had to drink goat's blood and stuff like that, but I couldn't find like an actual legit source. So if you guys know, if you're a dummy, let us know, please, if you've been possessed by a spirit and have been exorcised. let us know.
Leave it as a
How did
review
that
on
feel?
iTunes.
Right. And follow us on our socials.
That's at Creepy Convos for Facebook, Twitter, and Creepy Conversations on Instagram.
Oh, also follow us on Spotify and iTunes. Subscribe on iTunes. Rate, review, and leave a review on iTunes.
We are so not ourselves. I feel like, yeah, we're possessed right now.
Because
we're having
I can't
out-of-body
see-
experience. Yeah,
Right.
It's so
I can't see
weird.
Gabby, so I don't know how she's gonna react or whatever. So I keep on pausing because I'm waiting for her to like react or something.
Dude,
So,
I'm
like-
the same. I'm
That's
also
why it.
scared of us talking to each other, which we're already doing anyway. But yeah,
Right. That's why it's kind of off this episode this week.
Yeah.
Or are we always off?
No, I
Let
think
us
this is
know
like-
in the reviews.
That's true. Oh my god, most important thing. If you guys want to see videos, even if we can't see each other right now, we're doing separate videos, so we're going to be stitching this and shit. If you guys want to see us,
The full videos.
yeah, subscribe on patreon.com/creepyconvos, and we'll see you in our next episode. No, wait, not our next episode. On our mini-sode.
On our shorty.
Like shorties. Yes.
We're gonna be a bi-weekly episode next week, so you're gonna have extra content.
No, actually, we're already starting to be. By the time this episode will be posted, we're already bi-weekly. So,
Oh.
hey, yes.
Enjoy, you bitches.
And
But
thanks
also-
for, what? Oh,
Wait,
my bad.
no. For Patreon, this is why you should sign up for Patreon, because we have extra content.
Oh,
We're
yeah, for
already
sure.
like doing other stuff. You're gonna see us do besties for clean face.
Oh, that was fun.
We're gonna have an extra shorty there that won't be released in like iTunes or Spotify, so you can get that only in Patreon. And we're gonna have like other stuff on Patreon that you guys will enjoy.
Yes, exclusive content. And thanks for creeping, you fucking creeper.
And remember, the government is always watching you. And don't be possessed. Bye.